Tonight on your WZMQ 19 News, the United States says it's poised to enact an economic D-Day against Iran. We'll have the latest live from Washington, D.C. Plus, several businesses in the Upper Peninsula are receiving grants from the Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development. We'll have the details. And with students back on campus, we'll check out how everything went at Fall Fest today. Your 19 News at 6 starts now.
Live from the UP, this is WZMQ 19 News at 6.
Kelly, good evening. A beautiful way to start out the week, although I'm getting a little tired of all the wind we've been getting.
Yeah, Kevin, good evening. It's not too bad to start off this week, but it has been pretty windy from that major low pressure system that slowly swept through the Great Lakes this past weekend. So we do have that breeze with us, but at least we have mostly clear skies. Some of that cloud cover is starting to sneak in out to the west, but we are rain free for today. Temperatures fairly seasonal, upper 60s. That's not too bad here to end off August. 68 for us here in Marquette, 77 down to Menominee, also 66 up to Copper Harbor. So we'll keep it rain free at least until tomorrow morning. We'll see how the rest of the week is shaping up in just a few minutes.
Sounds good. Kelly, thank you again. In the latest with the war with Iran, the Treasury Secretary says new sanctions are ready to go to block all potential sources of revenue for Iran. The Secretary is urging other nations to cut their economic ties to that country or face economic pressure from the U.S. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Rachel Knapp joins us live from D.C. on this. Rachel, good evening. So what do these threats mean for Iran and other nations?
Well, good evening, Kevin. So Iran has already dealt with economic pressures from the United States for decades, but Secretary Scott Bessent told reporters today that they are tightening the economic noose around Iran, and this latest campaign is a warning to all countries. Now, the Secretary is calling the latest economic pressure campaign against Iran Operation Economic Outcast. He says the U.S. will issue new secondary sanctions to block sources of revenue for Iran, which include trade related to shipping, oil, crypto, gold, and aviation. The Secretary says the Treasury has mapped the networks, facilitators, and financial channels that Iran uses to smuggle oil, evade sanctions, and fund terror. Experts say some of Iran's most powerful trading partners like China, Russia, and India are well known, but the Secretary would not specify as to which other countries are aiding Iran. He says the president is speaking with those other countries, expecting them to sever their ties to Tehran, and adds that no one is above the reach of U.S. sanctions.
Any entity that facilitates money laundering on behalf of Iran will be removed from the U.S. dollar system. The clock just started ticking.
And Kevin, we're just days away from hitting the 6-month mark of this war with Iran. Now, experts say that since the U.S. and Israel launched their initial attacks against Iran, we've seen some of the costs like energy and grocery prices gone up here at home. And the other recent polls are showing that the war with Iran has become increasingly unpopular among Americans. Reporting live for WZMQ 19 News, Rachel Knapp. Kevin, back to you.
Rachel, thank you very much as always. During a visit to the UP State Fair, the Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development announced new investments to support local organizations. Big Goat Farm in Houghton is receiving $100,000 to open the Keweenaw's first Grade A goat dairy. Marquette's Peace Pie Company has been awarded more than $84,000 to support bakehouse improvements, which will boost production and allow for more Michigan-made ingredients. The investments are designed to promote food security and boost the local economy.
Our mission on a daily basis is improving quality of life for the people of Michigan. That certainly has a big role of helping support farmers and land-based industries, spurring that economic development then in a market-based way for the folks that are growing those foods.
Other recipients include First Catch in Lance and S&L Lumber in Iron River, Superior Culture in Marquette, and the Keweenaw Bay Indian Community. It's that time of the year again. This week is WZMQ's Back to School Week. As students and teachers prepare, a new state law will require Michigan schools to limit smartphone use during class time. The lawmakers who wrote the bills say it sets a minimum standard, not a one-size-fits-all rule. Districts are in charge of what that looks like for their classrooms and can choose to go even stricter.
It now gives them a tool to put forth policies that would have gotten some parental pushback in the past, certainly some student pushback, and now they can just say, it's the law.
Every district is required to post its specific policy online. You can check your school's website to see exactly what's allowed this year. NMU students are back on campus for the 2026 fall semester. To kick off the year, the university's annual Fall Festival was held today, showcasing just about everything Marquette has to offer. WZMQ's Andrew Hands has more.
It's another year at Northern Michigan University, which means a few thousand students have made their way back to Marquette. NMU's Fall Fest is the perfect way to get an idea of student clubs, teams, university departments, and surrounding organizations. For both returning students and those brand new to the area ready to take on a few new adventures, the event combines that student participation with local engagement. For students like Summer Starrett, a senior majoring in multimedia journalism and a producer with Public Eye News, it's always a welcoming show of community.
You're meeting tons of new people. You're really starting to get to know the campus.
And that every student has a unique take on Fall Fest.
The freshmen have a different excitement because they have 4 years ahead of them. For me, my excitement is like kind of enjoying my last year. It's exciting to get to know new people, new experiences, and another good year at Penn.
Local names offered financial assistance, job opportunities, and general information. Over 125 booths came to Fall Fest, each carrying a reminder of what to look out for as students ease into the semester. This included the Peter White Public Library and NMU Athletics.
It's been great. We've met a lot of people who have library cards, which we love to hear that as always, but also letting people know that don't have library cards, that even though they're still students, if they live on campus, they can still get access to our materials and sign up for library cards.
And for us specifically working in sports, kids are excited to pick up pocket schedules and excited to know when our home events are and when they can come cheer on the Cats.
And during the first day of classes, it's a good excuse to explore campus.
It's the start of the school year, so it's always really exciting. Everyone's ready to be outside. It's a beautiful day, so they're getting to see what NMU has to offer and what Marquette has to offer.
I think the general vibe of kids being back is awesome. They're excited to be back on campus and get back to doing that college student thing.
Andrew Hands, WZMQ 19 News, Marquette.
Your first warning weather forecast is after the break. We're off to a good start this week. Kelly will let us know if we can expect more of the same for the rest of the week. And later, Jim Koski is here for your Life in the 906. Tonight, he wants to talk about hitting a major milestone. We'll be right back after this.
Now, from the 19 News Forecast Center, this is WZMQ 19 First Warning Weather with meteorologist Kelly Rowland.
And welcome back as we kick off this week, one of the last few weeks here of August, and then we enter September. But we had a pretty major system over the weekend. It was a classic low pressure system sweeping through the Great Lakes. So a lot of the Great Lakes region saw a pretty decent amount of cloud cover and rain. So thankfully we are out of that. For the most part, it's all the way out towards the very eastern portions of the Great Lakes at this point. So we're not necessarily getting the impacts of that system any longer. The only thing we are still seeing and feeling is some of those stronger winds, and it is still predominantly that northwestern direction, so it is a bit cooler, especially for the northern portions of the UP. But other than that, we keep the rain out of the mix, and it was a pretty much calm and seasonal day. This is a look right now at our satellite and radar, and there's not much activity at all. We do have a beach hazard statement though until 8 p.m. for Alger County, and it's from high wave action and stronger rip currents, partly or mainly because of those strong winds. So just be careful out on the beaches for tonight. Maybe hold off on it until another day. Maybe not tomorrow because we are tracking some showers and storms. Like I said, a pretty seasonal day. The average is 73, and on Friday this average was 74. So we are obviously decreasing that as we get closer to fall. And today we rounded off at 74 for the high. Pretty on the nose for the low temperature, so it was a fairly calm day. No rain for us. We're not going to expect any in the overnight, but we are seeing some rain chances for tomorrow. Maybe a few general showers in the morning, and there is a possibility for some severe weather to get going out to the western portions of the UP and maybe strengthen as it moves from west to east. So we're more so looking at a late afternoon, early evening to really keep your eyes on the sky for potential severe weather. You can almost see again another system with that counterclockwise motion, bringing the classic shower and thunderstorm activity, also continuing to bring our temperatures down into Wednesday. We are going to get a push of warmth though right before that. So a lot of times when you get that strong cold front, there's that push of warmth right before it, before that cold air really digs down below the hot air, and you get the rising and thus the thunderstorms and all that fun stuff. So this is the severe threat for tomorrow, where it's basically just barely clipping the very western portions of the UP into that level 1 out of 5 from the Storm Prediction Center. We all have that general risk, which is a 0 out of 5. So most of those storms should be well behaved, but can't rule out that possibility, especially as it moves through, to kind of strengthen not only in wind speed, but maybe some small hail. Just with that sweeping system, things can move pretty fast. You can get a pretty decent updraft to create hail at that point. Fishing forecast for tomorrow, Blades Bait and Tackle Fishing Outlook gets a 2 out of 4 stars, and I put 30% chance of rain, but if you are going to be out trying to fish in the evening, that's when you will run into those showers and storms. We'll continue to see that for your Wednesday, and then things will start to dry out, but still on the cooler side of things to round off this week.
Kelly, thank you again. Coming up next on Insights, there's a large need for substitute teachers in the Upper Peninsula. We'll hear more from one representative from a substitute staffing service when we come back.
Thank you. What do I look at? Do I just look?
You can just look at me the whole time.
Okay.
Forget those things are
All right.
in there. Kevin often does after all. And you can come just a little bit this way. There we go. Sorry, Jamie. I usually like to talk to my guests more before the show. I just had so much hitting me at the end.
That's
there.
okay.
Welcome back, everyone. Students across the UP are headed back to school this week, and many districts are looking for substitute teachers. Joining us tonight on Insight is Jamie Gobert, a representative for a substitute staffing service called ESS. Jamie, thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely.
Well, my first question for you is just what is the need right now for substitute teachers?
There's a huge need all over the country, but in Michigan, specifically in the UP, for substitute teachers. At the time, we employ up to 800 subs and fill about 100 or more positions on a daily basis within the districts.
Gotcha. And it's not just substitute teaching as well. There's other roles, substitute roles. What can you tell us about those?
So if you're not looking to be a substitute teacher, or maybe you don't have the credentials to be a substitute teacher in Michigan, there are a lot of other positions. We employ substitute paraprofessionals and aides. We also cover kitchen staff, custodial staff, and other support staff positions in the district.
Gotcha. And what would you say makes substituting ideal?
I think substituting is ideal because it's such a flexible position. Basically, it fits into your life instead of you having to fit into it. Whether you're a stay-at-home parent that's just looking to return to the workforce, or maybe you're a college student who wants something to fit around their college schedule, substitute teaching really is ideal. You make your own schedule.
Sure. And talking about substitute teaching specifically, what are some requirements people need to have?
To be a substitute teacher in the state of Michigan, you need 60 credits from a college or university. You also have to be able to pass a specific background check that's specific to K through 12 entities. If you're looking just to be a substitute support staff, high school diploma or a GED.
Gotcha. And when you look to become a substitute teacher, do you get to choose kind of where you get to go?
Yes, you do. When you first apply with us, you'll pick a district. From there, you can expand it after you're hired to work in any of the districts in the UP. You just share your background check, and let's say you sub in Marquette on Monday and Negauni's close by, you want to go there Tuesday, you absolutely can do that.
Gotcha. All right. And so how do people apply?
If you're looking to be a substitute teacher, visit our website, www.ess.com. You can find more information about what we're all about and start your application right there.
Gotcha. And how important would you just say, how important would you say substitute teaching is for schools in our area?
I think substitute teaching is so important. In order to keep the learning in the classroom flawless, you need somebody in there to fill the need when a teacher's out for whatever reason. We cover partial day absences, full day absences, and long-term absences as well.
Gotcha. And what kind of people are you hoping to snag up to be a substitute teacher?
We just want someone adaptable, reliable, and someone that's full of energy and ready to get in the classroom.
All right, good stuff. Jamie, is there anything else you think we should know about this?
No, if you're interested, just visit our website. We'd love to have you.
All right, good stuff. Jamie, that's all the time we have. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And the one and only Jim Koski has your life in the 906 when we come back. And later, Escanaba was certainly bustling last week. We'll have a recap of this year's UP State Fair. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes.
I'm Tony DeCoppel, ahead on the CBS Evening News. Something unusual going on in the sewers of New York City. Not for the first time, new video has emerged showing men with headlamps and some sort of rubber overalls coming out of a manhole cover in Manhattan. Police have checked the area under the roadway, this time near Penn Station, and found nothing out of the ordinary, but they are hoping to identify these folks. Maybe you can help. Details ahead on the CBS Evening News.
That, because this one, when I first wrote it down, timed out at like 2:40.
Welcome back, everyone, and welcome back to you, Mr. Jim Koski. So, tell us, what is this milestone, sir?
Well, you know, it is a big milestone tonight, Kevin, because whenever you get to a milestone event, you take a moment to reflect. And this is one of those times. This is the 200th edition of Life in the 906. And for almost 4 years now, I've taken inspiration from the 906 and the magical people who live here. So allow me to give a shout out to some of those inspirations, like those individuals in the UP who think outside the box, who march to the beat of a different drum, and who do things the rest of the world wouldn't even think of. A race featuring outhouses, an author writing an entire book of poetry about Bigfoot. You're my kind of people. I should also give a tip of the hat to tourists. Now, I know I rag on tourists every other week, but I'm thanking them for both the endless parade of cluelessness and the misplaced air of superiority they bring in the font of inspiration that provides. I mean, if I didn't have tourists to mock, you'd be hearing way too many jokes about the Scenic Stretch, people who've never tried a pasty, and idiots who think the UP is part of Canada. Now, speaking of things to mock, I should also acknowledge the endless supply of futility provided by the Detroit Lions. I have no idea what I'll do if things ever go well for them. And I'd also like to thank someone who's okay with me joking that he's a cranky old man, and that's my dad. Now, he's fine with the gags, although a few weeks ago he did say, you know, I'm not 188 like you keep telling people. So let me clear the air about that. My dad is not 188 years old. He's 187. Finally, a big shout out to you guys watching each and every week. I would have thought that by now, at Mondays at 6:20, you'd be diving at your TV in a desperate attempt to change the channel. But for some reason, you haven't. And I appreciate that. So thanks for hanging around 200 times, everyone. I can't wait to see what the next 4 years bring. I'm Jim Koski, and for the 200th time, that's another slice of Life in the 906.
Oh, another 200 times, Jim? Oh, my goodness. I kid, of course. I kid.
Yeah, and out of the 200 times, I'm guessing until you eat a pasty, I'll make 150 mentions of that.
You know what? Having you on, Jim, it's all worth it. If you want to make fun of me like that, it's fine. Hey, I wanted to ask you, too, while I have you here in the studio, you have an event coming up this Wednesday.
I have a big tour for the Marquette Regional History Center Wednesday night at 6:30. It's our Happy Hour 2 tour. It's a follow-up to a tour we did last year where we had almost 300 people in the streets of Marquette talking about bars and some of the raucous stories that have occurred in those bars. And we're going to do it again Wednesday. We have all kinds of news stories, including, these are two of my favorites, a story about something called the Rhino Run, and the story of a Marquette bar that set a record for selling kegs of beer in one night.
All right. Good stuff there. Hoping it all goes well, Jim. Thank you very much. And don't forget to join Jim weekday afternoons on Q107 WMQT. Last night, the 2026 UP State Fair came to a close. Our Escanaba Bureau reporter Lily Simmons has a recap of all the fun and tells us what fairgoers loved most about their experience.
According to organizers, early numbers indicate that attendance for this year's UP State Fair increased roughly 8% over 2025. A major draw throughout the week was the entertainment, which included artists like Phil Vassar, Woodland Sky Dance Company, Midland, and Daughtry, who completely packed the grandstand Friday night. But for some fairgoers, they were most looking forward to eating their favorite food.
The cheese curds and mini donuts. The elephant ears. We're gonna have to go to the pizza that's like way over there, and it's like $3. It's so good.
I bought a lemonade because it sounded good. It's almost all gone, but fair's all about drinking and eating.
Others were there for the thrills.
A lot of the rides are fun, and Overdrive was just added last year because, yeah, I like the rides. The rides and the great experience it comes with.
Mine is the Ferris wheel.
There were also games to play on the Midway, livestock auctions to attend, and animals to see in the barns.
It's nice because it's local and it has a bunch of like local people coming, so it's kind of like a tradition.
That's become true for many fairgoers over the years.
Do you come every year?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And with all the fun they had at the 2026 UP State Fair, they're already looking forward to returning next year.
It's lots of fun. You're on adventure all the time. You never know. You meet new friends. You meet old friends.
It's just like an all-around, like, it's a fun experience. Like, you gotta come to a fair once in your life. It's awesome.
Reporting in Escanaba, Lily Simmons, WZMQ 19 News.
Now don't go anywhere. When we come back, Kelly Rowland will have our final look at weather. Stay tuned.
Now, from the 19 News Forecast Center, this is WZMQ 19 First Warning Weather with meteorologist Kelly Rowland.
And a final check of your forecast. Not much going on for tonight. We just have that breeze with us, and the cloud cover will continue to thicken up overnight as we are tracking some showers and isolated thunderstorms holding off until Tuesday evening, late afternoon, early evening for most of us. So we should start off dry for your Tuesday, some more showers and storms to get through for Wednesday, much sunnier and drier for Thursday and Friday. Make sure to come right back here later tonight for another look at your forecast.
Will do. Kelly, thank you again. And finally tonight, after more than a century, a historic Calumet hero finally has a permanent place to stand. On Saturday, hundreds gathered for the unveiling of a statue honoring Anna Klobuchar Clement, known as Big Annie, a 6-foot labor activist who led marches during the 1913 Copper Country Strike. The statue, funded by community donors and business sponsors, stands at Calumet Green Space Park. It depicts Annie carrying her flag throughout those very streets more than 100 years ago.
Most unique thing that I think about this project that we did is we use 100-year-old brick pavers from the old streets that Big Annie used to march on, and we relaid them at the base of the statue. So around her are the same bricks that the parades used to take place on a century ago.
Big Annie didn't return to Calumet after the strike ended, but as of Saturday, she's home for good. That's it for now, everyone. We'll catch you back here tonight at 11:10 Central.